message of reminding people about safety every day. And then on site, it's always that looking out for somebody. Be careful here. It's slippery here. Looking at the tools. It's the highest priority, and it's just, you just get ingrained. You get used to it after a while. It's kind of like, way back when the seatbelt laws came in, it was just, oh my, you just didn't want it. But now I get in the parking lot to get something at the glove compartment. I realize I put my seatbelt on, and I'm not even planning on driving. It's just automatic. And you get that same level when it comes to safety. You always get that alert where before you think about the job you're doing, you're thinking about the people around you and making sure they're in a safe spot. They're doing things properly. They're taking the correct amount of time. It gets to be a habit. Safety can be a habit. Just watch out for the complacency, but it's habit. It's like the seatbelt. You put it on even if you're not planning on moving the car because it's a habit. I think that's where we are now. Like I say, we were older, people were tired, focused on the end goal, but safety was a habit. Everything from you can't eat that pizza for breakfast. It's been out all night. Like right to the little silly things. People were looking out for everybody. You were just always had that mindset.
Great. I was visualizing as you described. As you were describing the team, Sweden International, like it sounds to me like quite a varied group of people. And who is included in this team? Like just from a diversity perspective, we're talking about diversity of sounds like almost everything. Everyone was included. We're talking about gender, different cultural backgrounds, and that sort of thing. So is diversity an important part of this, and did it look that way?
Well, one of the things we found when we were working with our contractor and with both utilities is the diversity is phenomenal. Even in Nova Scotia Power, I mean, we've got a fair bit of diversity with our team. We pulled together at the Mayor Newfoundland and Labrador and Nova Scotia Power. And then when you added our contractor ABB in the mix, like there was dozens of countries represented on site. My particular site, I was on was Bodenbrook in Newfoundland. And there's people from all over the world. It also took people with different levels of different types of talent. I'm an engineer, and I was, focused on that technical solution, and I had, a handful of engineers, and we would focus on a particular problem. We also had people whose focus and their area of expertise was the safety, which we had talked about a little bit earlier, who were very good at that. And even whether it's the safety or whether it's process management or whether it's equipment repair, one thing we saw was there was diversity it came from different ways of looking at things. People came from all over the world, from countries, and they all came together and almost always learned from each other. I'm getting a little bit off track on whether it's diversity or not, but like I say, one of the things... Yeah. So like I say, it had a huge diversity of talent, not just, like I say, the usual. You really notice diversity when people look a little bit different. So you could see that. People sounded different. People came from many different countries, and you can't tell by looks nowadays what country they're coming from. So you had different places, different ways of looking at the world, and you had different specialty areas. Like you had people whose specialty might have been equipment, certain types of equipment, or control systems, or safety, or processes. And we would learn from each other. And there was a lot of blending, a lot of, meshing of ideas, in particular like the technical, which is my area. So we'd look at control systems and how we would address a problem. So you might have somebody from Sweden and somebody from Colombia and somebody from Vietnam, and we'd all sit and we'd think of something, and you could see it just coming together. And like I say, I mean, this is not as strong as this. When it came together, it really came together well, and the pieces fit together so well. The diversity really helped make the project stronger. All the different pieces from different types of backgrounds, different ways of thinking. It was really good. And we pushed each other more that way, because you're challenged when you're technical and somebody comes up with a different idea. It kind of pushes you to another level to match it. So, yeah, we came together really well. Really, really good mix of people and talents.
Sounds great. Does it feel like you're part of something historic? Is that something you personally take on? Like something's changing now that's going to have impact into the future. Do you feel like you're part of making history from your part of this project?
Yeah, this project is really making history when you look at it that way. Joining Newfoundland to Nova Scotia, Nova Scotia to Newfoundland, it's changing the way we're going to operate. It means that in the dead of winter, if you have an outage in Newfoundland, they're going to get support from the mainland, and vice versa. last week we had a bit of we had a couple of units go off, generation units go off in Nova Scotia, and the link was, oh, can you just turn it on? I can't turn it on early. I have to finish testing it. There's benefits to both sides. So it's historic in that you now got this support system between Newfoundland, Labrador, and Nova Scotia that wasn't there before, and that will be there, for the rest of my lifetime. So yeah, historic project. We have a new way to lend a helping hand in Atlantic Canada. It's really good.
That's great. I wonder if imagine we're making a little poster and you just wanted to make a list of the maritime. Yeah, go ahead. The maritime link has been a success. So many things, and just list them. Technical success, collaborative. Yeah.
So there's been many points of success in this project. I mean, we've looked at it. We can see renewable energy, of course, which I haven't even started talking on that one. I mean, this is going to allow Nova Scotia to take off more of their non-renewable resources and add on hydro from Newfoundland. Now that the link is there, in addition to that block we've got reserved for a set amount of renewable energy, there's still more potential there for sharing back and forth, purchase and sales to enable better use of what we have. For our wind, we have online already in Nova Scotia. Newfoundland has a lot of hydro, so they have the capacity to save some of their hydro for when we have more demand. So that exchange there is going to give us a point of success. Is going to be the renewables. Another point of success is learning between both utilities on how the power systems can be operated to the advantage of both sides. There's already agreements in place now between how they're going to support each other in emergencies with sharing of energy, how they're going to support each other if they lose a generation unit. They're going to help share energy to get back up online. Point of success is learning from each other, just even in the day-to-day operations. You learn from somebody who does things differently than you, and there's always something that they do that you will change to do it that way because it makes sense, because they looked at things in a different way. What other points did you want?
No, I think
I can't remember what other ones.
Jenny, I didn't ask you that you think everyone should know watching this video about your involvement in the Book of Maritime.
My involvement? Well,
or anything you're feeling about your
it goes back to, when you're in high school and you're in the school library. I guess nowadays it would be flicking through the screens and something catches your imagination. Back when I was, 12 or 13 years old or whatever, and in the library at Belanger Memorial High School in the Codroy Valley, and I picked up a book called The Man Who Tamed Lightning, and it dealt with one of the very earliest engineers in electrical power systems. And that caught my imagination at that time. I mean, I didn't go to do engineering immediately. I ended up going to university, got married, raised kids, and when my kids went to university, it's like, So I went back to university, got an engineering degree, 10 years ago, and here I am. So it's been fabulous for me, like to have that dream from, back when I was 12 or 13-year-old, a girl in junior high in the library digging through the books and seeing these books in science, and it was really a fabulous world out there, but I didn't quite get there until about 10 to 15 years ago. Went back to university, did electrical engineering, just lucked out to get in with power systems at Nova Scotia Power, come to Emera, Newfoundland and Labrador, and to take part in a project of this scale. It's been really phenomenal for me personally.
Is this a case of where imagination becomes real?
Yeah, imagination becoming real, I think, is how you could describe my transition from, back in junior high, reading that book, and now getting to take this new facility, which is really, world-class facility for a test drive, which is really what we've been doing. Been out running it through its paces. It's been a blast.
Great. Well, thanks, Joy, for that. Let's just pause there for a second. Just want to check back and make sure we've got all our. I mean, these are places where one wouldn't consider, power cables to run. It seems like an amazing feat, and you're very close to it for the engineering, but for a layperson like me, it's really quite spectacular. So, in terms of just like, how does this kind of, in your mind, is there a relationship or an idea, even a metaphor between the idea of space exploration and this kind of new frontier of power under the ocean? It seems fabulous, right?
Yeah, so let me see. Okay, so I went to the library and I found this fabulous book, The Man Who Tamed Lightning, and it got me really interested in electricity at that time. mean, I used to go visit my grandmother down in Millville in the Cadre Valley, and you'd see the ocean, and it's vast. So my imagination when I was that age, taking this book and the electricity, and at that time